Africa, a very warm welcome to you. Welcome to Afternoon Express, and my name is Berita Afro. Now, it's another Tasty Tuesday, and it's time to join us in the kitchen for another Afternoon Express cook-along. We have none other than our resident taste master, Tumi, along with our guest chef, Justine Joseph. Now, ladies, today we're putting a spin on an Asian classic, bao buns.
Correct.
I mean, the only buns I'm familiar with are these buns we show off in the summer, honey. But no, Chef Tumi, you've got something special, and you've also brought on a very special person in your life.
Yes. It wouldn't be fair of me to do this much enjoying on the kitchen without bringing someone who I know would love it as well. So it made sense to invite her to come through.
So, Chef Justine, what do you have up your sleeve? You're introducing some Asian-inspired recipes here.
Yeah, so I absolutely love Asian food. I'm absolutely an Asian food nut. So I was very excited to be invited on today. When I found out that we were making bao buns, absolutely lost my mind. So a bao bun is a steamed bread bun that we're going to make different fillings today. We're going to make a barbecue bacon filling, and as well as a cheese filling, and then a mushroom filling for our vegetarian viewers.
That sounds absolutely delicious. And if you want the details of this recipe sent to your phone, then SMS the keyword Clover to 33650. SMSs are charged at 150, and free SMSs do not apply. And to build anticipation for tonight's episode of Tropica Island of Treasure, we're making the perfect mocktail to sip whilst you enjoy the show. So, Chef Tumi, what's that all about?
So it's Tropica Island of Treasure, and what better way to celebrate it than with a nice, delicious mocktail. So today we're going to be making a watermelon and grapefruit mocktail. It's divine.
Truly island style. Now, you can SMS the keyword drink to 33650 if you want the details of this recipe sent to your phone. SMSs are charged at 150 again, and free SMSs do not apply. Now, our special guest for today, she's a multi-award-winning Afro Soul singer and guitarist who joined us exactly a year ago on this show. She's since released her fourth studio album titled Songs in the Key of Love. It's Berita.
You're something like a unicorn. I've discovered you. Traveled all the 7 seas, then I encountered you. Make me the empress of your palace. I'm enchanted by your food. Show me the entrance to your castle. All I want is you. I just wanna be yours, yes, you're mine. I just wanna be yours, yes, you're mine.
She's looking royal in this emerald green and, of course, a look to match such an incredible voice. This is Berita. Now head over to our social media pages. If you've got any questions for her, tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express or comment on our Facebook page. Welcome back, Siswam.
Yay! I'm so happy to be back.
No, I love seeing your face again, and not only seeing your face, but hearing that voice, and especially when you drop your new, when you've got something new up your sleeve, it just gets us all so excited, and I'm sure our viewers can agree. But it's been an entire year. You've been a busy girl.
I have been.
What have you been up to?
First of all, last year when I came here, being city baby, kiss.
Hi, boo.
Izandi Puze. And
We totally kiss God.
I don't think you can ever, as a woman, stop searching for a kiss. Hence, my new album is called Songs in the Key of Love. It's an album about celebrating love in all its forms. Self-love for myself, and the love that I found in my partner and my loved ones.
Yeah, finding love, finding that affection is something that every single human can relate to. And we know that it is something that definitely resonates and touches our souls very, very deeply. You've already touched on your partner. I know a lot of men watching right now are like, oh, some men and ladies are like, darn it, I thought I was that close, but no, She is taken off the market. Good luck.
Well, I'll tell you this. My fans are called Berry Bays because they are tando kakhulu emakhaya. I think it's only right. I'm feeling love in my life and I'm in myself. I'm the firstborn ekhaya, and Umama has always said, "Wena kubo bonke abantwana bam uyathandeka."
Uyathandeka.
So,
it's that love that people.
You know, in my music, when I sing about love, when I talk about love, it's something that comes natural to me. And even with my new single, Chikizinto, Dithetha Ngothando, I'm talking about that kind of love that makes you change and change everything you're doing in your life.
Has love changed you?
It has. You'll hear it in my new album.
How has your partner impacted the work that you do, not only in the writing of the lyrics, which just speak and express love, but how's the support structure and that support system that continuously feeds your soul?
Yes, I think it's very important. I'd always prayed about having a partner that was supportive in my life. As a touring musician, record label owner, I have so much up my sleeves. I don't have enough time. You're good, Jola. So I'm so blessed to have someone in my life who really supports my dreams. And what I really do focus on a lot is my music. And Songs in the Key of Love is actually my first independent album under my own record label.
And come on, girl.
Music.
Exactly. You think we missed that? You have done incredible work.
Thank
you.
you.
Have decided to take it upon yourself to own the rights to your music, for you to have the say-so. Why was that so important to you? And how have you found it?
It's been 2 years. My company actually turned 2 years this weekend.
Happy birthday.
Women's International Day. It's been 2 years of hustle, like we said off air, and persistence. I've learned a lot about leadership and having a vision. And for me, the vision has been to create an ecosystem in our industry where women feel safe. So not only do I have the masters to my new album, I was also able to buy back the masters of my old albums.
Wow.
So that puts me in an incredible position to be, you know, to have and enjoy the fruits of the work that I've done. And for other women that are coming up in the industry to say, I can actually work towards this. If she can do it, I can do it. So it's kind of like rewriting this idea that's existed that, you know, women cannot own their own companies in the music business and women cannot be strong and independent and also support each other.
Absolutely. It's more about us finding ways to have that longevity in the music industry. And is this your way of making sure that you've got that staying power, that there is no record label, there is no other person other than yourself that can dictate your path?
Absolutely. For me, even in the studio, when I made Songs in the Key of Love, I actually made Songs in the Key of Love here in Cape Town. Strand. I handpicked musicians that I believed would understand my vision, and I brought them all the way to Strand, driving down, listening to all my music so that they could really understand which direction I was taking. And in each and every song, there's 2 songs that are fully produced by me in the album. And I have a say in the lyrics. I have a say in how the music is produced, the concepts that are in the different songs, and also the people that are featured in the album. It was important for me to feature Amanda Black, who's another strong female who released her own album late last year called Power. I also worked with Mo T from Mikasa. I worked with Bongane Sex. I worked with Begezela. It was important for me to create a product that I can be behind and say, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a music producer, I'm a composer, and I also own the record label, and I'm able to control where my destiny leads me.
Absolutely. The power is in your hands right now, it sounds like. And you've also been very purposeful and intentional with the collaborations that you've made. When you're looking for someone to collaborate with and work with to influence your album and bounce ideas off of, how do you go about seeking that? Because you have got some very big names in the South African music industry featuring right now.
Absolutely. For me, as a singer-songwriter, I let the music choose. I'm at that point in my life, after having worked with Babu Oliver Mtukudzi and Bahuma Segela, and having been mentored by them, I learned that music is spiritual and it's communal. So I'm at that point in my life where when I write music, I let it lead me. I let it tell me that this is who I wanted to sit with. This is where I wanted to go. And I feel like of all the albums that I've made, this is my most honest and most personal work. This is work that I can stand by and say, this is truly a representation of who I am.
Kota Peri, it's easy to say that now, but have you always been this way? You have to have an incredible amount and sense of trust. Trusting in yourself, trusting that whatever decision you make, because this is quite huge what you're doing, and it's kind of unheard for right now in the South African music industry. So did you learn to trust yourself in this process? Learn to trust the music to lead you in the right place to make those bangers? Because at the end of the day, sales are what matter.
For me, I'm so grateful, and thank you for asking that question, because someone at home will be like, oh, Berita, it's great, like, but how do I get there?
Yeah.
I've put in 8 years of hard work. I started 8 years ago when I was a student, and I've had my few hard knocks. You know, I've paid my school fees. In terms of contracts, I've been in situations that were not favorable, but what I've always tried to do, I've always tried in each moment to, first of all, agree with myself that you've been naive. How can you do better?
Yeah.
And honesty and just that communication with the people that work with you. Because what I think young artists don't know is that, like, you're not an island.
Nah.
And especially, I always say it's an ecosystem. Everyone, the artists, the musicians, the producers, the record labels,
community,
the promoters, the festival owners. And what you have to do is you really have to love what you do, number one. And number two, be okay. Say, you know, I had to, when I made this album, you know, I'm an entrepreneur in my own music. I'm investing in myself now. I had to be okay with the fact that I might make this album and no one thinks it's great. And thankfully, that hasn't been the situation. I mean, Chikizinto, my new single, is sitting at the top of the radio monitor charts. It was actually #1.
Congratulations! That's huge. That's massive.
So along the way, I've learned to trust myself, and I've learned to take, you know, those hard knocks and learn how can I do it better next time.
Essentially, it takes 10 years to make an overnight success. But here is Berita, someone who is 8 years deep in the industry, 4th studio album on the way. You can do it too. Now, we've asked everyone on social media if they've got any questions for you.
I'm ready.
We've got a question here from Maram Chera, who asked, do you have a love for hip-hop? And if yes, which SA hip-hop artist would you love to work with? That's a very good question.
I love hip-hop. And I also love the fact that here in South Africa, there's artists that have made it into a South African blend. There's many artists I look up to. I have worked with Yanga, before Yanga Chief. And I recently did a collaboration with PH Raw that is called Kushota Wena, which is actually in his new album.
Wow. So you've been definitely collaborating, making sure that stepping outside of yourself, testing the boundaries. I love that. I love that. We've got another question here from Lorraine, who said, Berita, you are so talented. What was the best performance you've ever done? That's a good one as well.
Well, they say you're as good as your last performance.
True.
So this past weekend, I was at the Lyric Theatre for a night of Afro Soul with Lyra, and I was her supporting act. And that show was absolutely incredible, guys.
Stunning. Oh my God, there you are with Ulira.
Yes.
Lyra is so incredible, so talented. And it also says a lot about you standing side by side by such an icon, such a force, saying that, girl, we believe in you and we're backing you too. We've got another question from Sinesi Paul, who said, how did you become who you are today? You are so lovely, kind and beautiful.
Thank you so much. I think for me, the industry that I work in and the work that I do is so tough that I made a decision 8 years ago when I was starting out that I would never let it change me. And I remember 2 years ago, actually now 3 years ago, I really went through a turning point in my life where the relationships I had were falling apart in terms of business and in terms of personal. And that was the first time that I really had to look into myself. And for the first time, I was like, no, you are the problem. Ooh. You have to decide who you want the world to perceive you as, and then you have to project that. And that's why even in my music, there's such a positive message and a message of love, because I had to say to myself, I am a child of God and I am a child of love.
You have come such a long way. Hearing you speak speaks so much to the person you are, your creativity, the passion you have for music. So I'm looking forward to that new single that you just dropped. I'll sip a taste as we head over to commercial break. Give us a little taste of that hook. The Afternoon Express cook-along starts after the break, so get your ingredients ready and meet us in the kitchen. We'll be back after this.
Express yourself.
Clover cheese is for those who love life, where everything falls into place and melts away our cares. Clover, for the love of cheese.
Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, and I hope that you have your aprons ready and your pots prepared, because we're about to get it cooking in the kitchen. Now, we've got some sweet buns, then you get savory buns, but nothing quite beats the pillowy, soft textures of a cheesy bao bun. Now, we can't think of a better crowd pleaser, so get your hands on cooking today along with us in the show as we make from scratch incredible cheesy indulgent filling. So SMS the keyword Clover to 33650 to get this recipe. SMSs are charged at R1.50 and free SMSs do not apply. I mean, Chef Justine, you've promised us pillowy, you've promised us cheesy. So where do we start with this recipe?
Okay, so where I'm going to start actually today is making the bao dough. So this is going to be the dough for the actual fluffy, pillowy baos that we're going to make today.
Sounds delicious. So how do we master it and get it right? Because I'm sure everyone wants to cook along and make sure that it comes out as perfect as yours.
Exactly. The secret in a good fluffy bao is sifted flour and also a really good raising agent. In this case, we've used yeast.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to add today.
Okay, so over here, you've already siphoned out your
Exactly.
dough. So do you want to just start throwing things in?
Yeah, so what I normally like to do is I make a little bit of a well in the center, and then I start with all of my dry ingredients first.
Yes.
So that's generally what I do. What we've got over here is some salt. So the salt goes into the center with some white sugar, because sweetness always helps. And also sugar is a good reactor for yeast as well.
Lovely.
Yes.
Okay.
So then, yeah, and then following that, what I do with the yeast is I add it to the milk. The recipe that we're using asks for warm milk.
Okay.
So
you have to preheat your milk.
Yes.
Stunning.
Warm. that means do not let the milk come to a boil at all. Else it's going to just ruin the entire recipe.
Okay, definitely pay attention here because it seems like the smallest of details can change the entire course of the meal. So Chef Dumi, on that side, it seems like you guys already get going. Chef Justine, you can continue right there. How's it going that side?
It's going well. We've gotten started with the filling for our bao buns. So what we're going to do is I'm just chopping up our mushrooms. What we're doing is our bao buns are the barbecue bacon, but we're giving people the option that you don't always have to use meat. It doesn't have to be pork. You could literally use any type of filling you like, and this barbecue sauce is perfect because it actually is vegetarian. So whatever filling you'd like, you can add to that actual barbecue sauce.
I love the fact that we are working for everyone in the kitchen. I know, Berita, you don't like pork. You don't eat pork at home. So for yourself, a more vegetarian-based filling works quite well with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What other foods do you try to stay away from, and what do you think is going to be the outstanding ingredient in today's recipe that you're most looking forward to?
I love mushrooms.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to taste what that filling is going to taste like.
Okay, stunning. So you already started grating your cheese. I mean, Chef Justine, what do you want me to get involved with here? Because it seems like we've got a lot of ingredients that are ready to be used.
Yes, we do. So what you can actually start with, if you don't mind, is you can just slice some of these spring onions for me. Can I just show you how real quick?
Please, yeah.
Okay, so I like them really... Okay, we take the ends off because they're not really nice. I like them cut on a bit of an angle and as thin as possible, so as thin as you can get them. And you just sail on with your knife.
I mean, I can't promise all of that fine chopping and it to look that good and that neat, but I will certainly try.
But I would appreciate the effort.
Okay, I love this. And I mean, Chef Justine, I personally, and Chef Dumi as a very close friend, has already spoken about some of your cooking background, but do you mind sharing some of the work that you've done as well?
Okay, so I was an executive chef for the past 4 years for a big group. So I've now recently moved away from that, and now I'm currently doing a bit of private chefing. So a lot more time to experiment and to work on recipes such as these, and to come here to be on the show with you guys. So Tumi and I actually go way back. She is one of my closest friends, and I love her dearly for inviting me into her on-set kitchen.
Space.
I love it, yeah.
Now, this is Tumi's domain, 100%.
100%.
We follow her here. She is in Duna Yethu, Impela, la ekishini. And I love the fact that we are bringing sisterhood to Afternoon Express, celebrating love, celebrating sisters and friendship. Family is what it's all about in this kitchen. So I love that. And you have taken matters into your own hands, and you've decided to be independent, going out on your own, cooking on your own. And that is also what Berita's done. She's decided to go independent too. She said, hey, look, I'm not going to answer to anyone other than myself. And you spoke about yourself being in full control of every single element of putting the music together. So from start to finish, how does the process look like?
So we don't really... I was about to say just like a recipe.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
But I guess for me, because I'm into my 4th album now, I went into this album thinking a lot about what my sound was going to be. And 2 of my favorite artists are Oliver Mtukudzi and Ed Sheeran. So
huge differences in that music. But I love the fact that they're so different, but they still do influence you.
It's guitar and voice. With Babu Oliver, it's more grounded music, rhythmic, and a strong message. When it comes to Ed Sheeran, it's melodies. It's all about love, just like me. So when I went into the studio, my ingredients, I could say, in terms of sound, were Oliver Mtukudzi and Ed Sheeran.
Nice. Oh, that is so beautifully put. And I think here it all comes down to exactly that, what feeds your soul, what speaks to you, because you can find different things at different times of your life feed through to the same outcome, which is beautiful music, or beautiful food in this case. So just a quick rundown and recap of what we've done in the kitchen. Chef Dumi, on your side?
Yes, madam. So we've gotten our cheese filling as well started for our bao buns. So what we're making is a cheesy filling that's got Gouda, we've got cheddar, we've got some garlic, we're going to add some jalapenos. It's basically going to be a mix of sweet and sour, salty, spicy. Remember what I always say when it has to touch on each of those taster variants.
Yeah.
And then we're going to saute our mushrooms. After sauteing them, add the barbecue sauce to that. And remember earlier in the week we spoke about umami. We won't need to add too much salt to that because the flavors from the actual mushroom will infuse into the barbecue sauce itself.
Yeah.
So we're getting our fillings done. Once that's done, we'll get the bao buns, steam everything up, and basically just enjoy them. the goodness.
I love the fact that as we learn in the kitchen, we keep testing ourselves and
Correct.
pushing the boundaries. So at home, if you are absolute #1 fan of the show, you remember the flavor, taste and textures of the umami flavors, that soy sauce, the mushrooms. I'm loving that. On your side, as a quick recap of the dough.
Okay, so the dough is coming together rather nicely now, Felisa. So all I've done is, you guys saw me add all of my dry ingredients in, and then I added the yeast into the warm milk. So the yeast milk has gone into the dough mixture and with 2 tablespoons of melted butter. So now I'm just rolling it out, giving it a bit of a light knead, then we're going to roll it out and we're going to start with.
Sounds delicious. Remember at home, if you want to try this, simply SMS the keyword Clover to 33650. After the break, though, we continue in the kitchen as we put the final touches of this incredible bao bun recipe. See you after these. Looking for immune support? Remain at your peak all year round with Immuenza.
Clover cheese is for those who love life, where everything falls into place and melts away our cares. Clover, for the love of cheese.
Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, where we are making delicious pillow cheesy bao buns, all Asian inspired. Now simply SMS the keyword Clover to 33650 to get this recipe. SMSs are charged at R1.50 and free SMSs do not apply. Ladies, this seems to be coming together quite well. I mean, this is definitely Asian inspired-esque, and it seems to be really, really good. Your dough has come together quite nicely. Yes. So what are you up to now?
What I'm going to need you to help me with actually is if you can start with our 3-ingredient barbecue sauce. It's absolutely easy. Anyone can do this. It's the best thing.
Stunning. So what ingredients do we have here to put this together?
We have some tomato sauce,
okay,
some brown sugar, and some Worcester sauce. So you can pop anything in. It doesn't matter in which order. Let's just start with a little bit of oil first. It's that ramekin over there that you've got.
No
just
problem.
A little bit of oil.
Okay.
And then we also want to start this on quite a low to medium heat, so about 3 or 4.
Should be good.
Yes, should be good.
3 or 4. oils in. We're going to wait for that to heat up. Don't worry, you can continue.
Yes,
I don't want to take you away from your station, because at the end of the show, I'm trying to eat, and if the food is not ready, we're beefing.
Don't worry.
Speaking about beef, on the vegetarian side, how's it going, Dumi?
It's going well. I'm going to ask Berita to actually get started for me with the mushrooms. She's going to fry up our mushrooms for us once the butter is melted over there. And then I'm also going to get started with our buns as well that we're going to fill. So I'm just rolling out the dough as well on my side.
Okay, perfect. In terms of technique, Chef Dumi, putting these fillings together, how does timing play a role?
Luckily, with this kind of recipe, you don't necessarily need to time anything. It's basically just about being present in the kitchen. It's one of the few recipes where you, once you've done all the different ingredients, you don't actually have to stand over the pot. You just put on a timer. Like, for instance, the actual dough itself, it only needs about 8 minutes to cook. So if you've got all the other ingredients sorted, all the other elements of your dish sorted, then you don't even need to worry about, oh my gosh, I need to stand over my pot and I need to watch it. But one thing I do need to mention, like, for instance, I'm rolling out the dough now. I've noticed that people always ask me, like, how do I get that perfect circle or that perfect round when I roll my dough? The technique for that is to make sure that, for instance, let me show you now, I'm rolling at the one side. And then once you've done that, when you turn it over, you basically turn it clockwise so that it turns to a different angle. So you don't just flip it over like this. When you turn it over, you keep going around with it. You just keep going around with it so that you get a perfect circle. So I'm going to roll it out now. It obviously elongates this side. And then what I do is when I flip it over, it becomes lengthways, and now when I roll it out again, instead of being a long log, it becomes a nice round circle. So just keep doing that, and then it stays a full circle the entire time.
I know I'm not the only one who felt that. I mean, Berita, we had no clue that we were doing it wrong this entire time. I love that. So we turn it clockwise, we keep rolling it out, flipping.
Yes.
Love that. Okay, stunning. So the mushrooms are already on the pan. This barbecue sauce is coming together quite well. All we put in here is tomato sauce, brown sugar, and Worcester sauce, and voila, perfect barbecue sauce.
And then let's heat up this big pan over here so we can start with the bacon for our bacon filling.
Okay. Yeah, it seems hot enough. Oh, very hot.
Yeah. So then you just lay the strips down nicely, one by one, evenly, preferably not on top of each other so that everything cooks evenly and cooks at the same time.
Ah, nice. Okay.
Great.
I can already hear that sizzling there. This sounds really good. What am I missing out on?
No, I think this is a secret we'll keep to ourselves, hey? I don't want to embarrass anyone.
Beautiful, beautiful.
But no, I'm just helping her out with the peppers. The one thing I have noticed that is people tend to worry about using hands in the kitchen. As long as your hands have been sanitized correctly, you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Just need to make sure they stay clean, and then you can actually use them each time. Just make sure that they've been cleaned, and just because it's easier because you can feel the food.
Yeah.
The one thing with cooking is that it's harder to use utensils because you tend to not always know whether it's cooked enough, whether it's rolled out enough, and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing here. We're using our hands to make sure that we feel the food, not only with our tongues, but also with our hands.
Love that. And you know, sanitation is very key, especially because right now everyone is having health scares and it's flu season. So if not for the food, just for yourself, make sure you're washing your hands, you're sanitizing your hands, and making sure that everything is kept clean and pristine in the kitchen.
Correct.
Okay, love that. Chef Jasleen, how's it going that side? What are you up to?
Very good. So what I'm working on now is just a bit of a slaw to go with our delicious bao buns. It's a nice side. Just a bit of crunch, something fresh. So what I'm adding to that is a little bit of spring onion, some carrots, and then some shredded red cabbage with a little bit of lemon juice.
Beautiful.
Super simple.
So do we at least have half a bao bun almost ready to go in? Because I want to see the incredible technique. Because, I mean, I've seen this being used when people are creating dim sum in certain restaurants. So this is the same kind of utensils that we're going to be using for our bao bun.
Basically, yes. So I'm going to try and roll out one for us now. Let me just put our bowl over here. So I'm going to spoon in a bit of the filling into our dough. So we've rolled it out. You don't want it to be too thick, but you also don't want it to be too thin, because if it's too thin, it literally is going to tear. So you want to keep it a little bit thick. I'm going to make this bun, but not with the barbecue, just with the cheese, for some of us that enjoy our cheese.
I love my cheese.
And then the aim is to try and pull the top of it so that you try and close it together. So we're just making like a little bun, and then we're circling it together. And then what we do at the end, we just pinch it at the top, and it becomes a nice little parcel. I actually found out that bao actually means treasure, so maybe that's why it's a little parcel. It's hidden in here. When you find it, you feel like you found a bit of a treasure.
That's so cute. Well, I know the fillings are definitely worth a whole lot in my book because they're filling, they're nutritious, and they're soothing, they're comforting. So this meal, it's good for lunch, good for dinner, basically all of.
Yes. It's an all-day
Should that be
dinner.
ready?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, that is
perfect.
beautiful.
Yeah, I'm killing the bacon, killing the spring onion. Who knows what she's doing? Remember to SMS the keyword Clover to 33650 to get this recipe sent to your device. But just in case you missed any of the steps, here's a quick recap on our bao buns.
Made with love by Clover.
Everything is coming together really nicely in the kitchen here. Our fillings for our bao buns are quite well underway. The bacon is looking good. The cheese and the mushrooms are coming together perfectly. Definitely looking forward to enjoying this at the end of the show. Now coming up tonight on SABC3 is the second episode of Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao. So after the break, we're making a quick and delicious Tropica citrus cooler. That's perfect to sip on during tonight's show. So stay right there. More goodness, more deliciousness, more flavor coming up after the break. See you right there.
Express yourself.
Find your smooth fortune with Tropica. Buy a Tropica, follow the entry details on the pack, and stand a chance to win your share of 1 million rand in prizes, such as a trip for 2 with KLM to Amsterdam, LG G8 phones, TVs, and dishwashers, guest vouchers, watches, and accessories, plus the smooth grand prize of a Suzuki Ignis. The more Tropica you buy, the more chances you have to win. Tropica, nothing smoother.
There's nothing smoother than the fresh, cool taste of Clover Tropica. Made with love by Clover.
Welcome welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, if you're looking for a refreshing mocktail idea to impress your guests, look no further than our Tropica Citrus Cooler. This is one perfect drink to sip on and savor as we watch all the excitement on tonight's episode of Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao. SMS the keyword drink to 33650. SMSs cost R1.50 and free SMSs do not apply. Chef Dumi, this sounds so good. I'm already wanting to dive in because you got some of my favorite ingredients in the kitchen.
I know. And there's nothing more refreshing than a nice, delicious mocktail, rather. And I like watermelons. They're in season. It's one of my favorite fruits to use at this time of the year. And luckily, we've got the Tropica Cool Red, which matches our color of our watermelon, so a perfect pairing.
The taste is going to be out of this world. I know that we were spoiled last week as we premiered the first episode of Tropica Island of Treasure, where we were treated to these incredible mocktails throughout the evening. And I was so shocked to find out that they're all based with Tropica.
Yes.
Love that. So this is basically good for everything and anything.
It is, darling. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to get started with our watermelon here. What we're going to do is we're going to juice it. We're basically going to blend it up in our NutriBullet. Once we've done that, we're going to mix in the Cool Red into that bowl there. So let me just get started with this first.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I was going to say...
because it's very high in water content, so we're going to mix these together.
Perfect.
Worry.
So what's special about watermelon and all these other fruits? You can just blitz it whilst we're chatting. Is that it kind of makes its own liquid. I love that.
Yeah, so it's a very high water fruit. It's almost like cucumber. You get a whole lot of water from these two ingredients. So here we didn't need to add any water, we didn't need to add any liquid. And when these two mix together, because of the high content in the actual watermelon, when we put it into the freezer, it's going to freeze up a bit, like you would with, we're making a granita basically, that's going to on the top of our mocktails.
Oh no, I love granitas because, you know, you still want something to cool down your drink, but you still don't want to lose out on the flavor. And sometimes just ice blocks with water just don't do it.
And it also dissolves the flavor away, and we don't want that. So I'm going to ask you please to put this in the freezer for us. We have an already made granita in there. And we also have our grapefruit segments, which in this case are going to work as our ice blocks. So we don't need to get additional ice blocks in here. We're just going to use the...
Voila! This looks so good, and it's so cold. If you had any question about the temperature here, it got a whole lot cooler.
A whole lot cooler for real. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start assembling our mocktails.
Beautiful.
What we've got here, people are probably curious what this is. So the grapefruit itself, we've peeled it, we've taken out the individual segments from each of them. So it literally does not have the skin part or the fleshy part of it, because that's where the bitter part is.
I was going to say, because I've now realized that if you just peel open your grapefruit, it's so sweet, it is so delicious, and it is so enjoyable. So why not rob yourself of a fruit that is underrated, I believe, and add it in a drink?
Of course. And the best part about it is that it also is good for you. So we're not only enjoying here for the fun of it, we're also just getting a bit of vitamin C over there. And being that time of the year, you did mention it earlier, we do need a bit of that in our diets.
We do need a whole lot of vitamin C. It is flu season. People are not feeling well. They're groggy. Waking up in the morning is getting that much more difficult. But this is something to keep, and adding a little bit every day, doing a little bit in every meal, in every drink, to add that extra nutrients, add those added vitamins. And this is something to do so.
Perfect. So before I go in with the rest of our ingredients, I'd like you to please decorate our glasses for us. We've got some some grapefruit slices there. Yes, go get the bomb and inu out there.
Love this.
Perfect. And what I'm doing now is I'm just smacking our mint together. What this does, it helps release the flavor and the aroma from the actual mint itself.
So good. And what do we have here? Is this just water? So it's sparkling water.
It's sparkling water. I'm adding the rest of our segments here. And then what you're going to do, then you can top it up with the orange Tropica flavor.
Angeke Dumi, this is starting to look more like a fruit salad than a mocktail. I was going to say, I need more drink in this. Okay.
Don't worry, girl. I got you. And then you can add our sparkling water.
Nice.
Perfect.
That sparkling water, I love it because it comes through with that zing and it adds some bubbles to our mixture here. So we're not dealing with something flat. I know Dumi judges all of us because we don't drink regular water, we drink sparkling water. But I just love it. It adds that extra kick, that extra zang that you need with a slice of lemon. Woo!
No comment.
Really, really good. Who needs a soft drink when you have sparkling water, but then coupled with something in a dairy-based drink like Tropica?
Exactly.
Beautiful.
So this is our beautiful mocktail over here. So as you see, it gets together, it creates a bit of an ombre color there in our mocktail. So you've got the pink from the watermelon, you've got the green from the mint, you've got the beautiful bright colors from the orange Tropica, as well as from our grapefruit, which is the ice in our mocktail today.
Beautiful.
And it's refreshing and fresh, and after those bao buns, it's exactly what we'll need to just cleanse our palate.
I love that. Island living is what it's all about. Yeah, I feel like I need to be transported right to Curacao myself. Now, simply SMS the keyword drink to 33650 to get this recipe. And remember to tune in tonight at 7:30 p.m. right here on SABC3 for all the excitement on the new season of Tropica Island Treasure Curacao. Cheers.
Cheers.
So delicious.
On the next Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao, the teams have been decided and it's now time for them to compete in their first challenges.
The winners have chosen each other.
Team Mango, preach. Move, move!
It's harder than it looks.
Nailed it!
That team, they're going to be a problem.
And a new strategic element is introduced.
This could be a big game changer.
It's anyone's game.
Catch Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao Tuesday evenings at 7:30. Repeat Saturdays at 8 p.m. only on SABC3.
So refreshing. Now, after the break, we're chatting Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao. So make sure you stay tuned for a sneak peek of tonight's episode.
There's nothing smoother than the fresh, cool taste of Clover Tropica. Made with love by Clover.
I've never met someone with a heart like this.
He embodies what it means to be selfless.
Even when I was in a state of panic, she showed me true bravery.
Often the bravest people don't see themselves as others do. Join us in celebrating these brave heroes. Nominate the pharmacists and healthcare professionals in your community making a real difference and stand a chance to win 5,000 Rand.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, last week, Tuesday, was the premiere of SABC3's hit series, Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao. It was an episode filled with drama, spice and action, and a few surprising moments, especially when the Smooth fans outshined the celebs in their first challenge. On tonight's second episode of Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao, the 12 contestants take up their first challenge as teams. Tropica also introduces a new element that will add an extra spice to the mix. So make sure to watch Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao tonight at 7:30 p.m. only on SABC3. Nothing smoother than #Tropica.
On the next Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao, the teams have been decided, and it's now time for them to compete in their first challenges.
The winners have chosen each other.
Team Mango, preach.
Move, move! It's harder than it looks.
Nailed it!
That team, they're going to be a problem.
And a new strategic element is introduced.
This could be a big game changer.
It's anyone's game.
Catch Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao Tuesday evenings at 7:30. Repeat Saturdays at 8 p.m. only on SABC3.
What you've all been waiting for throughout the show, here to perform her very new single from her latest album, Songs in the Key of Love. This is Berita with Jiggy Zinto.
I must jiggy. Jiggy Zinto.
performance of Zijigi Zinto by Berita. Of course, this is her #1 newest single coming from her 4th studio album titled Songs in the Key of Love, celebrating talent. Come on over, Berita. I think I'm officially a berry bay.
Berry bay.
A berry bay. I love that. Let me dish up for you. I know that you love the vegetarian one. I mean, we spoke earlier about taking up space. That hustle is #1. You've in fact taken on something that Uzozi once said. Uguti, we are here now. The time is now.
Taking up space.
Yeah. So if you have any advice or you want to say anything to our viewers in terms of taking up space, the hustle being on. I mean, we always say whenever we see each other, she's always telling me what new she has up her sleeve. So what words of encouragement do you want to leave our viewers with?
Absolutely. The first thing that I would say is that persistence. I see a lot of young people that start up in something or they have an idea and they quickly change their minds. The first time that things don't work out. I had a gold-selling album, my debut album, but for my second album, things didn't work out that way, but I kept going. For my 3rd album, things didn't work out quite that way. Each time I learned something new, and I wouldn't be the person that I am. I wouldn't be having a #1 radio song, a #1 on iTunes, if I hadn't learned the mistakes that I learned in the past.
Yeah, and with those mistakes, I mean, there have to have been times where you didn't feel like carrying on, where that persistence wasn't speaking as clearly as it does today, having a #1 record. So do you use as an encouraging factor to keep you going the fact that one day I will be #1? Or do you have other methods, other ways of, whether it's prayer, spirituality, things to bring you up again very quickly?
I think 1, it's prayer. 2, take a rest if you need to rest. I know my cycle. I'm a morning person. So the thing that I do is that if things get a bit too hectic, don't throw the towel. Say, hey, tomorrow is another day. And when another day starts, tell yourself that this is my day.
Today is a new day to always come up and do something different. Now I'm very excited not only to have you and end the show off to you, but tomorrow we are tackling the coronavirus. So head over to social media if you've got any questions about this virus. Good night, God bless, and happy eating, South Africa.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.